Hello, Anteater fans, and welcome to our schedule release special as we preview the 2014 baseball season here at UC Irvine. Michael O'Sullivan sitting down with Hall of Famer Mike Gillespie, and Skip going into your 7th year at the helm. And things get going on February 14th, where you guys welcome in the Bulldogs of Fresno State, a team that won the College World Series back in 2008. I know that's some dates you got to be excited to get back on the field for.
Well, absolutely. And in mentioning Fresno State, Michael, why I think the baseball fans certainly know that Fresno State has a great history. I mean, a long history of being a real high-profile and winning program. And so they're always a great opponent. There's no year that they're not. You make mention of the fact that it's only been a few years since they won that national championship. So it'll be a great series. It really will be.
Then you have an early non-conference tournament with Wright State, Arizona State, and Long Beach State. And you just talked about how Fresno State, a very tough opponent, so your team will get tested right out of the gate.
Right away. Wright State is, I'm sure, is sort of an unknown opponent to people in Southern California, but the fact of the matter is that they've been a real strong program now for about a half a dozen, 7, 8 years, with a West Coast coach who has just left there to take the head job at Penn State, but he had built a real strong program. So it's a team it's going to be a real good team. And the other two teams are certainly well known. Arizona State, who will play here the second day of that tournament, needs no introduction to anybody, nor does Long Beach State. This tournament was actually put together by Long Beach State. We were invited in. It was a chance to play 3 games at home. We'll play all 3 of those games on our field against real good opponents. It's another great weekend.
And then looking in late February, you guys go on the road for the first time as you travel off to Portland, a team that came in last year here to Anteater Ballpark early in the season, and that was a very competitive series.
Yes, it really was. And again, I think the people that follow college baseball recognize the upswing, the upward trend that Portland has taken in the last half dozen years.
Right.
And this is a return of a commitment for a home-and-home series. So we're actually looking forward to going up there with a little trepidation about what kind of weather we'll run into.
Right.
But they'll be a plenty good opponent.
And then calendar turns to March. You take on your former team with USC. You get Gonzaga, who comes in here for a 3-game set. And then on the 11th, the date that'll stick out for a lot of people, UCLA, the defending College World Series champs, come here, or you travel to LA to face the Bruins, and then you're off on the road to Nebraska. So looking up and down, the non-conference schedule, this has got to be a stretch where your team will certainly be tested.
Yeah, it in fact, I mean, it's just not debatable, Michael. It's a strong schedule. You've mentioned the fact that we have USC in that time span. Obviously, the UCLA game is a highlight game, whether it's here or there. The fact that we've got Gonzaga coming in here, who's the defending champion in the West Coast Conference and has really been the preeminent program in that conference over the last 4 or 5 years, is another really good opponent. When we go to Nebraska, that's a return of the beginning of a series that took place here at home last year. And certainly the UCI fans will remember that Ted Silva was our first pitching coach when we came aboard here, and he is the pitching coach and recruiter, the guy that handles the recruiting responsibilities at Nebraska and is hanging out in Southern California altogether too much in his recruiting effort. And they had a real good year last year.
Right.
They went to the last weekend before not making the NC2A playoffs. Darren Erstad, who certainly Angel fans and Southern California fans think highly of, is the head guy there. That program is here to stay now.
And then you wrap up March with Grand Canyon, Cal State Bakersfield, and then conference play starts to get going with the Big West, but we'll get to that in part 2 of our sit-down with Mike Gillespie here on UCIrvinesports.com.